Secrets hidden in plain sight. Powers that move the world in the shadows. Questions no one dares to answer. Step beyond the matrix. Subscribe.
They say if you repeat a lie over and over, it's no longer a lie. It becomes a truth. And here. So anytime you hear the media say, we got to protect our country, we got to protect our country, shit, we start saying, we got to protect our country. You ever notice how the radio play the same song over and over, and then we fall in love with the hook? Well, when we listen to the media over and over, we become the fish that got hooked by the BS. This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me. You know how they say it's truth in plain sight? What do that mean? Well, they're trying to tell you that they're not hiding shit. We don't know what to look for. This war is not about protecting no country. No. They might take the oil, they might take the gold, but they really want the land. Is the land more important than the oil and gold? Yes. Truth in plain sight. What do it mean? They say time controls everything in our reality, but really look at the clock. It's a reason why they have 12 numbers in your face. It's a reason why women go through 12 menstrual cycles every year. It's a reason why we have 12 zodiac signs. Why the moon have 12 lunar cycles. You can't forget the most important one, Jesus and his 12 disciples. This war is really about stargates, portals. Number 12 is really important. That's because we had 12 stargates on this planet. Arizona, Peru, Egypt, Iran, Tibet, Russia, England, France, Himalayan mountains, Peru again, New England, 12 stargates. We look at a clock just to tell time, but every number is pointing to a stargate on this planet. Whoever controls the 12 stargates control humanity. Humanity represents the hidden one, the 13 stargate, or I should say Christ consciousness.
Now, there's a lot of videos going around on the algorithm right now, but this one, watch this, and I'll be right back.
Wait, so you're telling me in the future, people just stare at a little box all day, inside and outside?
And in the future, you don't even own the music, you just pay every month to borrow it? Like, if you stop paying, the music just disappears?
Wait, so before people eat, they take a picture of the food and show strangers? And the strangers like and comment on it? So in the future, everyone has their own phone and they use it to type messages instead of call? And if someone calls you without typing it first, it's considered rude? So you're telling me in the future, people just post their diary for everyone to see?
Some people get paid for it.
For their diary? And in the future, a little box just tells you where to go, turn by turn, and people still get lost? If you want food from a restaurant, you just tap the box and a stranger brings it to your door, and you pay extra for that, and then you rate the stranger? Our moms always say don't talk to strangers, but in the future, everyone just talks to strangers all day on the little box and shows them their house and their kids? So in the future, nobody ever just sits with the quiet? Like ever? That sounds really exhausting. In the future, everyone's connected to everything, and people are still lonely? Okay, but do we at least still stay outside until the streetlights come on?
Now, the purpose of me showing you this is because it is so funny how what made us great as children, which makes us great as adults, makes us different, makes us cut from a different cloth. Because we used to hang outside until the streetlights came on. We used to meet friends on bikes in different neighborhoods, but make sure we were back in our own neighborhood before the lights went off. We also grew up without cell phones. We also grew up just laying in the grass, staring at the sky. We also grew up watching the sky be clear. I have daughters now that will never know a clear blue sky without checker lines in it. The reason why I show you this, because it is so easy to be distracted It is so easy to get caught up in all of the noise, caught up in all of the chaos, while our children are now being literally given these little boxes, these little iPads, these little cell phones, the TVs. Like, we are just transitioning that shit into our children's lives and not giving them what we had. They're not standing in the grass. They're not going outside. They're not, like, this is not happening right now. And this is an issue. And I bring this issue to you guys for an awareness, because where you are giving your kid the iPad just to get the free time, but you're actually killing white matter in their brain. That is proven. And the minute you start killing white matter in a child's brain at an early age, they no longer can focus on what matters. They no longer can pay attention for long periods of time. They no longer have attention span. Everybody's attention span is like a gnat because they need the flash. They need that instant gratification. They need the instant relief of feeling like they're doing something. And that is what these video games, that is what the iPad, that is what all of this is triggering. And then the minute they don't sense or feel the exact same thing, children shut off. And we're living in a world where the last thing you want is your children to shut off from learning. And that's why, as a parent, you should be getting your skill sets up if you're going to be using these boxes. If you're going to be using these boxes, you got to be using these boxes to develop skill sets that is literally going to financially level everybody up. And people start saying, Mr. H, why do you always go back to the finances? Because that is the key. That is your foundation. It is proven those who have not established a financial routine, a financial foundation by the time they're 35, that's your money range. I'm 47 and I'm producing the bag, but I also understand how to make the bag move. And I also understand how to keep the bag. So if you're interested in learning how to move it, how to make it make money, and then keep it, and then bring that back into the real world because you just don't trust the digital space, and then teach your children how to do it, this is what we're doing over here in OBG. Not only are we doing it, but we're doing it for almost 7 years now. This is our 7th year, and we're extremely successful teaching individuals how to get started in day trading, teaching individuals how to get started in investing into crypto, get started in investing into stocks, and then move it. I know a lot of guys have stocks because they had in the corporation rat race. I know a lot of people have crypto just because they got hyped up on TikTok. We're teaching you how to move it, and we're teaching you how to understand the movement, because that's so important. So when you get this message, I'm telling you, drop your thoughts in your comments. Say, yo, Mr. H, put me on game. Yo, Mr. H, how do I get on? I need to learn this thing. I'm tired of just watching. If you're tired of sitting on the sideline, put me in the game, coach. Type it in my comments, jump into my DM. Put me on game, coach, and I got you. Deuces, beautiful people. Don't let your light just dim out because you're working your ass off and not literally smelling your roses that you're putting into your garden. Understand what I said. Sometimes you got to stop and smell your roses, and your roses are your children. Deuces.
How will you fix the oil crisis?
We will soon be announcing the United Global Oil Reserve.
Bro, I told y'all about the United Global Oil Reserve. I told y'all this shit was gonna go crazy because this is a new meta. I gave you this coin at a $7 million market cap. Do y'all see it right now? And this is only the beginning because war is still going on. United Global Oil Reserve is currently sitting at number 4 on Phantom. I showed you how BlackRock and Larry Fink was accumulating a big bag of UGOR. And apparently Donald Trump and Larry Fink is set to make an announcement on March 20th. This is why UGR is probably pumping right now. It don't seem like gas is gonna get any cheaper, and it's about to be the summertime, y'all, and Iran is threatening about $200 a barrel. The poly markets are saying that there's a 97% chance that Trump is going to make that announcement for that coin. Now, this is not financial advice, y'all. I'm only showing y'all what I do. Meme coins are extremely volatile. They move extremely quickly. Just as fast as they can go up, they can come back down just as fast. But if you want to check this play out, the contract address will be pinned in the comments below. Comment juicy and I'll DM you the link to the free Telegram group where I give real-time plays and calls. The digital wave is here, y'all. Let's catch this wave. Peace in.
So if you're one of those individuals that every time you get stuck in rush hour traffic, you kind of say to yourself, how and why does this always happen at the same time? And why do I say that? Because there are a lot of people online that are saying that there are agents that specifically go out at a certain time to create traffic jams. You heard what I just said. Agents that go out to create traffic jams. And the claim is that this is being done so that people get frustrated, aggravated, and by the time they walk in their front door, all they want to do is unwind and relax. And they're not thinking about current events or who they should really be upset with. And what people are referring to are the higher ups, overthrowing individuals that are making our lives difficult and tough. And according to many unconfirmed sources, this is all planned. And a lot of people that have been thinking about this for the longest of time are now realizing that they're not the only ones complaining about the same thing over and over again: traffic. And if you think about it, it completely removes you from everything else going on in the world, because the only thing you want to think about is getting home and getting the hell out of that traffic. We've all been in that situation. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Bro, have y'all seen this, man? Y'all can't tell me that we don't live in some type of simulation, some type of matrix, some type of, some type of theater, man. This gotta be theater. It's gotta be a charade. You know what I'm saying? And then the fact of the matter is, this is on Australian news, bro. This is not AI, y'all. This is real for real. But the symbolism is very, very loud and clear over here. They're basically saying that the start of the Epstein stuff, it starts the fall of America, because y'all know the Titanic sank, bro. The ship is going down. They're literally telling us, bro. Because if you guys know the history about America, it's all about sacrificing, especially the blood of the young ones. That's literally what it's all about. So it's literally built on that. This is the ship that was built on that. And the fact of the matter is, it's not an American news media outlets, bro. This speaks volume, bro. But y'all know what Epstein was doing, with the children, and he was, Trump was obviously there, bro. And now it's time for that ship to come to an end, bro. Because if you think about it, these people are really pirates. I mean, it makes sense that why they're on a ship, right? Because they came over on a boat, right? The original banana boat. Literally, this is the original banana boat. And it's the original banana boat because Christopher Columbus, they came on a boat. We were already here. These people, these are the pirates, bro. But if this doesn't prove to you that we all live in some type of simulation, some type of place, some type of theater, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Let me know down in the comments below, bro. The ship is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
This was filmed 6 years ago today, on the last Friday the 13th in March, which was in 2020. There has not been a Friday the 13th in March since 2020. And isn't it interesting that right now in multiple countries around the world, citizens are being urged to not stay home and save lives, but stay home and save gas? Coincidence? Sure, it's nothing, but that is a little bit of a strange coincidence, especially with all this World War III discussion. Is there going to be energy lockdowns? We'll see. Keep your head on a swivel, though, because there is a lot of other things going on behind the scenes. Now, I can tell you, with all the craziness going on in the world today, the deceptions, the psyops, the stuff that's going on with the food and water supply, it has never been more important to be of sound mind and sound body. And right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxing and delicious. It also stimulates stem cell production. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
So once I realized, the DNA in this fruit is communicating with the DNA in my body and activating genes from the sun. First of all, my body, which has melanin in it, is absorbing sunlight. With that sunlight, it's actually activating my genes through mitochondrial DNA. I'm like, I gotta get closer to the sun. I gotta get closer to the real world. Then I start looking at my reality. I seen the squares everywhere. I remember watching The Matrix, and I remember the grid. Everybody talking about the grid. And it hit me one day it's squares everywhere. Squares, they spill everything in square feet. Your phone is a square, your laptop is square, your iPhone is square. Everything is square. The TV's a square. Your bed is a square. Your picture frames, they're square. The door is a square. The tiles are square. Everything is square. And I look out in nature and I'm like, there's no squares in nature. Yo, we're living in the grid. The grid is squares. We build everything in squares. They built their world on top of nature, and they're going against nature. Our lower self is going against its very own nature. And how long are we going to do this? With sickness and everything that happens in the consequence of being out of tune with what you are, which is God, happens. It's in the squares.
Warning news, this truth is some hidden knowledge that is going to disturb a few and completely rewrite reality as you know it. But if I know this information, then you're gonna know it too. What if I told you that the moon and the sun were actually technology given to us by the Anunnakian, Tazarian, Moor race, aka your fallen angels, your watchers, all of the deities that spiritual practices are based around, and as well as your religions. So that is also responsible for the 13 bloodlines, which is the reason why you have the 12 disciples plus Jesus, which gives you 13. You have 13 original zodiacs. You have 13 Olympian gods, Orishas, so on and so forth. Yeah. Which is why Project Bluebeam is not what it seems. And they're gearing up for the greatest light show of a millennia to trick you from what it is that they really have going on behind closed doors. The silent transfer of power is here, not near. Planets are not what you think they are. The aliens, the Anunnakians, they're not on your side. And I want to go to an interesting clip that actually backs that up.
The moon was brought here 12,000 years ago. Our moon is in fact an artificial satellite. It is not a real planet. It can literally leave our orbit underneath its own power. According to the Andromedans, it was brought here from Ursa Minor, from a star system called Chalta, that had 21 planets in it. It belonged to the 17th planet. It was one of the moons. Now, there are ruins all over it. This is why the Apollo astronauts stopped going back. It's because there was somebody already there that were told not to go back.
The most dangerous solar storm in 20 years just hit Earth, and it's about to make the Ring of Fire even worse. NOAA just confirmed officially that an S4 severe radiation storm is happening on January 19th, 2026, and this critical level hasn't been seen since October 2003. Multiple X-class solar flares have launched a massive coronal mass ejection directly at Earth.
EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies that can control you, me, matter, everything. Yeah, nothing is as it seems, everything is as it's perceived. Just the beginning, a rabbit hole.
What about satellites? Did you know that NASA has hundreds of these satellite balloons up in the air right now? Have you seen them? Google and many other companies have fleets of these balloons as well. Look up Project Loon. The fact that NASA and its subsidiaries hardly discuss these so-called satellites was a huge proof for me, because it evinces a deliberate effort to conceal the fact that space satellites don't exist.
You're saying NASA is just one big fat movie production, and that's why they have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That they're the largest buyer of helium in the world, and that's because all satellites are just giant party balloons?
Exactly. And dude, just think about it. You ever wonder why NASA needs that much helium, more than anyone else on the planet? They claim it's for pressurizing rockets or scientific equipment cooling. No, it's because satellites, the ones they tell you are floating in orbit, are actually high-altitude balloons, literally massive government-issued party balloons just chilling up there. And they need constant refills. You ever hear of Project Loon? That was Google's little experimental project, deploying internet satellites via balloons. They admitted it, straight up. And guess what? The project got shut down. But you really think they stopped using them? No shot. They just stopped telling you about it. And it gets crazier. Ever notice how sometimes random people find these satellites crashed in their backyard? And they're not metal space stations. They're just deflated giant balloons with some tech strapped to them. And you know what NASA says every time? Oops, must have been a weather balloon. They're always weather balloons. Every time. They don't even try to hide it anymore. And that's the thing, man. If NASA's whole operation is about helium and camera tricks, it starts looking way less like a space agency and way more like a billion-dollar movie studio. That's why they've got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Just like everyone else with a star, they're for entertainment purposes. Every live feed from space, CGI, green screens. It's all a show, a big helium-filled production.
Notice how there are no cables from here to here or here to here. The reason you will never see these cables connected is because look how far the distance is from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and the vast distance from 1 to 3. But Ryan, what about these cables here? Oh yeah, you mean the short distance right here? Over 99% of the world's internet traffic, including international phone calls and data transfers, rely on cables. Not satellites, cables. Now, pull up any map of sea cables and you will see that none of these touch. Because we live on a flat geocentric plane in Revelations 29, and they went up on the breadth of the earth. What is that? That is Strong's G4114. Breadth meaning plateaus, has a root word, breadth, suggesting great extent. Let's look up this root word plateaus. G4116. G4116 says plateaus spread out flat. You have been deceived.
Never know what's going to happen. This baby fell out of the sky and landed in our yard.
Okay, hold on a second. Did you guys hear that Drake partnered with McDonald's to launch a new kind of limited time meal that's he had something to do with apparently. And it just so happens it's called the Afters meal and it has an owl on it. And they have Night Sprite. Now, the theme is supposed to be where night owls land. That's why there's an owl there. It's like the nighttime meal. Go have a McDonald's GMO upside down, never decomposes, totally toxic meal after hours, I guess. But what it reminds me of is the other 40-foot stone owl, which represents the ancient deity Moloch, which I'm not going to tell you what that deity is associated with, but it is very strange. And I can't help but think that there are some forces out there, some good and some evil, that are upon us right now. Do not eat McDonald's, by the way. Now, I can tell you with all the craziness going on in the world today, the deceptions, the psyops, the stuff that's going on with the food and water supply, it has never been more important to be of sound mind and sound body. And right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxing and delicious. It also stimulates stem cell production. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
What's going on with Macaulay Culkin here, guys? Why is he recording himself eating pizza? Although people do this anyways, right, guys? They record themselves eating, right? But why a pizza? I don't know. Come on! I don't know what's up with this video, guys. Something's going on with Macaulay Culkin recording himself eating pizza. Why? That's the real question. Shut up! It's not a game. Is this the type of stuff you like to do when you're home alone, Macaulay Culkin? Shut up! Now, who was he smiling at? Right? Who's recording him eating pizza? Although it's normal, guys, because people record themselves eating every day. Shut up! But why does he make it seem so weird? Something's going on with Macaulay Culkin, and if you ask me, he's just eating pizza. Stop playing with me, son. This video's for entertainment purposes. I don't know what's going on with him, but it seems like he's just eating pizza and he wanted to record it. Shut up! It's not a game out here, guys. Macaulay Culkin been acting up lately. Home Alone 2 was my favorite movie, doggy. And ever since, you stop playing with me, son. It's not a game out here, guys. You know what it is. Shut up! But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever at one of my friend's house and he pulls the camera out and he starts eating pizza, making funny faces to the camera, not while I'm here, doggy.
We've been hearing a lot of scary shit about Ellen DeGeneres since the pandemic hit. And anytime somebody mentions her name as something that sounds like a conspiracy, most likely people are going to believe it. So a man is claiming that when he was a kid, he was a guest on Ellen DeGeneres' show. And while he was there, he seen her do some unhuman, scary shit. So this man was a child prodigy chess player. He was a guest on Ellen DeGeneres' show. He said he did the show and everything went well. But when he got off set, he seen something that he never thought he would ever see in his life. He said he came off set, looked to his right, and saw that Ellen DeGeneres' dressing room was cracked open just a little bit. He saw her in there, and what he saw scared him for the rest of his life. He said Ellen was eating a chicken, a rotisserie chicken. But it wasn't that she was eating a chicken, it was how she was eating the chicken. He said he saw Ellen DeGeneres dislocate her whole jaw, open her mouth as wide as it can go, and stuff the whole chicken in her mouth. You heard what I just said? This man said he saw Ellen DeGeneres open her mouth as wide as she can, dislocate her jaw, and stuff a rotisserie chicken in her mouth and swallowed it. One gulp. Then she looked at him and she made a hissing sound. You know what that means, right? Of course, after seeing that, he had to be scared. He ran to his dressing room, told his mother, and his mother didn't believe him. This shit sound crazy. Jump in the comments and tell me what you think. Because this is not the first time people was told stories about Ellen. We're going to jump down this rabbit hole on the Expensive Everything podcast on YouTube. See y'all Tuesday.
One of the biggest cosmetic brands, designer cosmetic brands in the world. Their ex-formulator had contacted us. He said, quote unquote, the cosmetic industry is destroying women's cells. C-E-L-L-S, cells. And I said to him, why don't you say something? He said, I can't.
We're talking about thousands of different chemicals.
The same chemicals being dumped and running through the rivers that are toxic are running through our blood.
For some of these chemicals, millions of children will be harmed before we actually decide whether it's toxic or not.
Skincare, hair, feminine care products have been associated with reproductive problems. Ovarian cancer, preterm birth, mercury poisoning, endocrine disruption.
What they don't tell women about wearing makeup. The skin is a human sponge and it absorbs things. So everything you put on your skin goes directly right in. An average female will absorb 4 pounds and 6 ounces of chemicals every single year. So here's an example of 4 pounds. This is how much chemical goes into your body through the skin every year. And there's about 515 different chemicals put on your skin every single day. From blush, foundation, shampoo, conditioners, deodorant, body lotions, hand cream, eyeshadow, lipstick, nail polish remover, which is very, very toxic. Some of these chemicals are carcinogens. Those are things that can cause cancer. The problem is there's always a delay between cause and effect. You start accumulating these chemicals, you don't know when potentially you could have a problem down the road.
Everything you put in your skin goes into your bloodstream. And in the bloodstream, it'll act like oil and fat. That goes not just for massage oil, it goes for cosmetics, it goes for creams and ointments, it goes for sea water, it goes for fluoridated water. It's on the skin, it goes into the bloodstream. And the regular rule, and this goes straight across the line, is very simple. If you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on your skin. That goes for cosmetics and underarm deodorants and goes for lipstick and everything else.
There are people here that have the ability to predict the future. And Chris Bledsoe was one of them. But when he told people what happened to him when one of those orbs came down and spoke to him, y'all thought he was lying. If you don't know, Chris Bledsoe told the Pentagon in 2012, and one of these orbs that he saw came down out of the sky and was a woman. And this woman told him that she was the divine feminine. He also told him something that was going to happen in 2026. Mind you, this is in 2012. She basically told him the world is about to change because they can't lie to us anymore. The veil is broken. We are living in the age of Aquarius. But it's not what she told him. It's how she told him. She told him that when Israel and Iran exchanged missiles, she told him in 2026, when Israel and Iran exchange missiles, the veil is going to be broken. Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
I'll tell you what they
Listen.
recently.
Listen to this man.
Was, and I put this in writing to the Pentagon in 2012 when I told this. Okay?
2012.
One thing she told me was, when you see Iran and Israel exchanging missiles, and I saw it, the way she tells me is a vision of, I see it like a living picture screen. I could see the rockets flying. Then all of a sudden, orbs appeared out of the ocean and everywhere.
This is crazy.
And I told the government, if this happens, the orb's going to appear and wake people up and stop it. That's what she told me.
April 2026.
Yeah.
And okay, you know, you've put yourself in it there, Chris.
It's okay.
It's going to be, Chris Bledsoe says April 2026 is when it all happens.
But I can tell you this, when I told this to the government about 2026, I just repeated what she told me. They immediately put remote viewers on it. And all of a sudden, all the remote viewers are saying, oh my God, 2026, 2027, something is going to happen.
This man said when he told the government put remote viewers on her. You're all right. Okay. I'm out.
If they like to tell us the truth right in plain sight, what do you think they're trying to tell us here in Bana Hills, Vietnam? You think they're trying to hint at something? What about here? Here's some more architecture from Bana Hills. You think they're trying to tell us something? Like, really trying to tell us something? Well, what about here in the movie Moana? You think they're trying to tell us something here? Like, I don't know. What could they be trying to tell us? What in the world could it be? I just can't figure it out. Ever see the movie Cars? And you know how the cars are the people in the movie? Did you ever check out the mountain ranges in the Cars movie? Maybe you need a better look, where that kind of looks like a vintage Ford. And did you ever take a close look at the Teton Mountains? Teton, that sounds an awful lot like Titan. Well, maybe if we take a different look. Sometimes it just takes a bit different perspective to see things in a new light, and just to make sure you really see it. Couldn't help but notice a smile, a nose, and even an eye in those Teton Mountains. And speaking of mountains, have you ever heard of Camelback Mountain? Couldn't help but notice something there. I couldn't help but notice how much Camelback Mountain looked so similar to a camel, and how other mountain ranges across the entire world seem to have faces in the mountains. That's the Garden of the Gods. And again, when you take a different perspective, things become a little bit more clear. And speaking of more clear, here's Black Dragon Canyon Viewpoint. I wonder what we can get a view of. Those kind of look like big, jagged teeth, wouldn't you say? And when you zoom out, couldn't help but notice this old thing. Here it is outlined for you, down to its jagged teeth and its big old mouth and head, right where Dragon Trailhead Canyon is. And when you zoom out from that big old dragon head, you start to see a picture of something else, like a full dragon, wings, torso, and all the way up to the Black Dragon Canyon. And when you zoom out, you see it in its entirety. But then zoom in even further, you can see all sorts of things on the terrain that appear to look like scales. Here's the terrain, and here's some alligator scales. But of course, all this is for entertainment purposes. I don't really think they mock us by putting things right in plain sight and calling things by names that you wouldn't believe are actually true. Like Camelback Mountain and the Teton Mountains. This is all for entertainment purposes. Of course, I don't really think monster giant animals and giants called the Nephilim once existed.
What if I told you the US didn't invade Iraq for oil, but an ancient Stargate built under the sand? Just think about it. Every time a war breaks out in the Middle East, it's never where the oil is. It's always where the ancient ruins are. Samaria, Babylon, the birthplace of ancient mythology and the oldest stories of gods descending from the skies. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes, but this theory starts to make sense when you consider this. The US struck Iraq in 2003. The first thing they secured was the Baghdad Museum. Before hospitals, before civilians, before anything. And guess what went missing? Sumerian tablets, ancient star maps, facts linked to gates. I'm talking about witnesses said the most guarded chambers of all was these chambers underneath the museum. The same spot where ancient texts said gods entered this world. Ancient myths all describe the same thing. Sumerians with the gates of the gods, Egyptian Duat portals, Hindu with the wormhole of the Devas, a Jacob's ladder with beings ascending and descending. Could be a metaphor or describing technology. What do we got today? I mean, CERN is bending space-time. NASA's apparently studying the Einstein-Rosen bridges. And if you follow the news, quantum portals are discussed pretty openly these days. And I believe China just recently managed to get something to teleport without anything connecting it. I mean, it's really not that sci-fi. Just think about it. If we're trying to build stargates right now ourselves, is it crazy to believe that these ancient civilizations who had connection to these gods or sky beings didn't do it too? I personally believe we still use this stuff and the technology was just hidden. I don't know, but just ask yourself, why does every empire race to control the ancient ruins? Maybe that's because whoever controls the past controls the portals. He who controls the past controls the future. My name's Static G. If you like what I'm doing, please let me know in the comments what you love about this video. Like, share, comment, repost, and follow me for more. One love.
I think the collapse of these systems is actually taking way too long. And I was always the type of person to say, well, things have to get worse before they can get better. But I just didn't know it was going to get this much worse. Like, I didn't know it was going to be actually this crazy. Like, in my mind, everything fully has to collapse. Like, the collapse is imminent. The collapse is happening no matter what. So now it just feels like it's being prolonged. Because realistically, I think about it and everything that's currently going on, and I'm like, there's no way the world can just go back to how it was. Like, the world is forever changed in a way where it's like a shift. Like, basically a new world is being birthed out of this old system collapsing. But the collapse is taking way too long. Like, it's actually taking too long and it needs to already be done with, because I feel like everyone can tell that these systems are collapsing currently. But it just kind of feels like maybe people are just holding on to these systems. But it's like the systems are collapsing. And I feel like we all need to just let it go and just let it fully collapse and be done with. Because other than that, we're just literally prolonging the inevitable. Like, we all know that this system can no longer exist after this point. It has to collapse. Something else has to come out of this situation entirely. And we can't go back to the way things were ever. Like, that will never be happening. So I feel like let's just carry on with the collapse, because I'm tired of waiting. I really am tired of waiting. And again, I do think like things have to get worse before they can get better, but it's already in the worst area. Like, I don't know how much worse things can get. And I'm not saying that like as a challenge to the universe. No, I don't want the universe to try to challenge my words by me saying, I don't know how much worse it can get. No, this is bad. I really hope that this is the worst that it gets, because at this point we understand like the collapse of these systems is inevitable. So it really doesn't have to get much worse, because we can just let the system collapse and crash right now. That's just what I think. Like, just let everything collapse. Let these systems be done with so that something else can come as of now. Because clearly those systems weren't working and we're not going to be able to ever go back to those times and have things be normal. Something new has to happen entirely. So let's just let the collapse happen, because I'm tired of it being prolonged. I really am.